All right, good evening. I want to just say welcome to Neuqua Valley High School. Thank you all for coming out. It's great to have you here. I'm glad you're here today. Welcome to our school. Freshmen, this is your first event. It's High School 101. Welcome. This is our second time meeting each other. We had the chance to meet in our Neuqua Ambassadors program. I had the chance to connect with all of our 8th graders this year through that program. And to our parents, welcome. It's our first time meeting each other. My name's David Perry. I'm assistant principal here at Neuqua Valley High School. I have the pleasure of serving at our Burkett Freshman Center, so I'll be the face that you'll see as you kick off your high school career next year. So welcome tonight. Tonight is High School 101, and it's a little bit, the program's a little bit as the name implies. We're going to share a little bit about our school, foundationally who we are, a little bit about our culture and climate, some things that we really believe in, and then you're going to have the chance to hear about just the logistics of course selection and some of the things that are important in deadlines and different deadlines to meet and benchmarks to hit. And then we're going to have the chance to share just a little bit about almost like a preview of our night next week, where we're going to have a chance to talk a little bit about course selection, and Mrs. Wilson is going to hit some of that as well. So welcome tonight. Great to have you. I'm going to just show up on the screen here. NeuquaStudent.org /2029 is the website. You'll find all the information about tonight, and we'll have these slides posted for you to be able to look at and review. There's really no need to take out your cameras and take a lot of pictures of the slides tonight, because you'll have direct access to it. So, and then the event that I had mentioned next Wednesday earlier is 8th grade open house. That's next Wednesday, January 15th at 6 o'clock. Today you came in door 7, right off to the side here, that led right into the auditorium lobby. On this night, you're going to actually come in door 1. It's the one located directly under our bell tower in the center of the school. And we do that so that we can get you all the information that you need, get you going in the right direction. And that event will be previewed more by Mrs. Wilson a little bit later in the evening. Okay? I want to talk really about, I got a couple slides here just to go through to talk a little bit about who we are as a school. I think one of my favorite parts of being Neuqua Valley High School, it's my 27th year, is just what really we believe in foundationally, is that relationships really the foundation of our school. It's what it was built on. Positive relationships first between teachers and students. We see this day in and day out. We celebrate it. I think it's one of the things that makes us such a tremendous school. And the other thing is we get a lot of other schools and departments come in to just see how we do things and what makes us such a great school. I will tell you that just teacher to teacher, department to department, the collegiality and the communication that happens amongst our staff, I really believe is second to none. And these relationships ultimately benefit our students. It's my favorite part of being here. So this is our first time meeting each other, but we're going to get to continue to know each other and build on that relationship. I'm looking forward to it. Second thing I would tell you about Neuqua Valley High School is we have a ton of opportunities. Well over 100 clubs, activities, and athletic events that you could be a part of. And I encourage you to explore those. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that and chances to do it. You're going to have a lot of opportunities in the classroom academically. Some of that can seem a little bit overwhelming. That leads to the second part. You're going to have some challenges as you go into high school. And I would say that any transition in life, you experience some of those challenges, right? Our adults that are in the room could probably speak to challenges that they've experienced with any transition that you go through in life. If you rewind back going to elementary to middle school, that probably seemed like a pretty big deal, a pretty big stretch. And the thing about our district, I think we do a great job of, yes, you're going to be stretched, you feel a little bit challenged, then you grow and you adapt. And then you stretch a little bit more, you grow and adapt. And the important thing that I think to understand about challenges, especially in a place like Neuqua Valley, is it doesn't come without support. We have a tremendous environment here. We've got teachers that are always willing to help. We have a number of intervention programs and supports when it comes to academics. Our class house is tremendous support also on the social emotional end. Sometimes there's days you just need to be able to talk about some things, or maybe you're going through some personal challenges. These are all things that we want to address and support and have a lot of wraparound services. And when you combine a lot of tremendous opportunities, along with being challenged, because that's the only way you're going to ultimately grow, and you're in an environment where people are going to support you through that process, that ultimately ends up in great growth. And I think that's the reputation that our school has. Students come in, we meet you where you are, and you're going to have the chance to be better every single day. And so I really encourage you to kind of take that to heart. And every day you come in with a positive attitude. Look forward to some of those opportunities, those challenges. Know that it's all good in making you who you are. and who you want to be. So welcome to Neuqua Valley High School. I can't wait to have the chance to get to know you more as we go on. We got a number of great events where we're going to connect before school even starts. So thank you for being here. I'm going to jump in and hand it to our principal, Dr. Lance Fuhrer, tremendous leader of our school and in our community. Had the chance to work with him for 27 years. Let's give him a warm welcome round of applause as he comes to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I love this picture. We try to show it anytime that we greet new people. It's also a great reminder for us as a school and the people that are here, regardless whether you've been here 27 years or 2 years. I think it embodies so much about this moment that we're sharing right now. You're here for a long transition from 8th grade to high school. For parents, there's a little bit of that, that's my kid. But for students, we want you to think of the shadow that you're going to cast here for the next 4 years. You'll note that we refer to you as the class of 2029. Now, you might be called freshmen by some other grade levels, and we'll do it too, but one of the most important things that we can remain important is that class graduation year, because that's our goal. We want you to start strong, to finish strong, but it's a process and a procedure of growth and making the choices that will get you there and learning about yourself. What goes with this picture for me, because I think it says a lot about our school, particularly before you really walk into it. Tonight, you're guests, but come August, you're going to be a part of our community, and that's really important for us and for you. And we want you to feel welcome, regardless of who you are, where you've been, what your story is, whether it's filled with successes, failures, or some mixture of both of those. We want you to be who you are. We welcome everyone, every single student, and value whatever story brought you to our front door. But we ask in return for that generosity that you become who you are capable of becoming. And that's going to start with making really good, thoughtful choices. Ms. Torres-Proctor, who's our Director of Guidance, will talk a little bit about our course selection. Tonight is sort of the meat and bones of how are we selecting the courses that you're going to take next year. Those are the first really important choices that you're going to make before you really begin to meet many people. Even though you're going to be introduced next week at 8th grade open house, you're not going to remember a ton of people. You're going to remember how it felt to be here, and that's really important to us. We want you to feel welcomed. So for me, the best high school experience is one that all students can experience outcomes and all options once they leave here. And we don't use those words lightly. If we say all, we mean it. I think those terms of absolute, like all or never, are really, really important. And we ought to be really cautious and confident when we decide to use them. And it means a lot to us, particularly here, because many feel we are a very big school. How can they value who I am when I'm here? It does begin with relationships, and it will continue as you come to our school, attend our classes, get involved in activities and athletics, and you will begin to develop your own sense of who you are. All students, all options. It's very important to us. So one of the decisions that you'll make for many of your core classes is going to be about college prep or honors or AP courses. So one of the things that I feel really obligated to talk about is a little bit of a myth about Neuqua Valley, that every student here takes all honors and AP classes. 70% of our students, the most common courses they take in all of our core areas are college prep classes. I have been here since the doors opened in 1997 here at Neuqua Valley, and that has almost always been the case. And we prepare students for all of the different options. And I want to give you a sense of what those are. This is a little graphic of the different places that our graduates end up. You will see, of course, as you would expect, highly selective schools where it's very difficult and challenging and takes a little bit of luck to get in. But you will also see people that are choosing a life of service, that are going out and getting a license to do certain technical work, that are maybe getting some kind of endorsement to be a realtor. They're attending a specialty school related to music or art. These aren't ambitions, these are the reality of who our graduates have become for the years after they leave our school. And I think it captures so much about what we want you to believe in about us. And for parents, it can sometimes be challenging. You have a story. You have ambitions. You have goals. You have expectations. And I would really encourage you to tailor those to the strengths that you're going to help your student discover, that we are going to help your student discover, and adjust and adapt your expectations and your validation and your acknowledgement to those. As a community, that's what we ought to be doing, whether it's where we live or where we attend school. It's very important to us. So let's get started talking about what we call enrollment. Jessica Torres Proctor is our Director of School Counseling. She serves many roles. That title doesn't begin to encompass sort of the leadership that she has. She's going to begin walking you through some details regarding the next few weeks. This is the part of the presentation where you're going to be tempted to be like, how am I going to remember this? Remember nequastudent.org, 2029. The slideshow is already there, so you can review it. But let's welcome Jessica.
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. We're always very excited for tonight, just to start meeting everybody and seeing all these wonderful faces. As Dr. Fuhrer said, I want to go over a few details. Please know that, like he said, slides will be available, and some of the information I will be going over today is on the information you should have received at your respective middle school. So before we get started, I want to mention two things. Prior to today, you should have received a letter, probably more so in December, regarding the changes as far as placement and teacher recommendations. So just to kind of recap, last year, students were placed in classes based on their test score, whether they met or exceeded, right? That was how they were placed in courses. This year, in that letter, you should have read that placement is based on whether a student exceeds. If a student didn't exceed in their 7th grade IAR, then teachers will be recommending courses for them. So just a little bit of a difference from last year. Again, you should have received that letter. It came from Mike Purcell. If you don't recall, probably search that in your email to kind of review that. The other item that you should have received is during the week of December 16th, we did go ahead and deliver the course selection information to all the middle schools, and that includes the timeline that has all the times, all the dates and details as far as selecting courses, level changes, which I'll talk about here in a minute, attached to the course selection sheet, and that basically includes all the courses that are available to our incoming freshmen. All right, so hopefully you have those too. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I first want to just emphasize again, these are some of the dates that are on that timeline, but I want to highlight a few. So as of January 15th, the Student View, Parent View window will be available for students to select their courses in Student View. When you log in, students will see the core recommendations or placements. Okay, so again, if they were placed, they will see those placements in there. Otherwise, they would see the recommendations for core areas, so English, math, science, and social studies. From there, students will then be able to select electives. You will see PE already entered. You will see lunch in there as well. So that window will close on the 22nd. On the 21st, that will be the last day that you will be able to submit any level changes. And again, I'll kind of go over that a little bit more in another slide. And then super important, during that week or the weeks of January 27th through February 21st, we will be visiting every middle school. Our school counselors to meet with your student individually to have that conversation, confirm the courses. So once the window closes, obviously you won't be able to go in there and make any changes because then we will go to the middle schools and meet with your student and say, this is what we have in for you. Are these accurate? And also, if there is any errors or if you didn't select enough or selected too many courses, that's where we make sure everything is correct. All right, so that will be coming soon. Once we select a more specific day that we will be there, middle school should be sharing that information with you. And then we do give students the opportunity in late May for them to make some changes. And this would be only specific to elective courses, so core will remain the same. If a student decides, you know what, I selected art, but I want to do music, this is the opportunity for that student to make that change. But please understand that that change will only be accommodated if there is space in that specific class. If there isn't space, then we will ask to select another or remain with the one that they selected originally. All right, so we really want to make sure that when selecting courses that students are making some informed decisions. And the reason I say that is because it's not easy to just say, you know what, I changed my mind, I don't want that course anymore, because once a master's schedule is built, that's where, that's what the classes the student will have. So it's really important that students do make sure they select courses where they're informed, where they've done the research, where they've, decided this is what I'm interested in. So just, again, doing some research is super important. The course sheet obviously tells you every course that's available to them. So go through that once, twice, just so that you know everything that's available. And then we have the course guidebook, which is probably the biggest resource for you. The course guidebook includes every class that we offer here at Neuqua Valley, freshman through senior year. So in there, you will find every course, a description about the course. You will find how the length of the course, if it's a semester long or year long. You will be able to see how many credits it's worth. So again, a lot of information that will be helpful when selecting those courses. We also, in that course guidebook, we want to make sure that if you have something in mind, whether it's a specific program after high school or a specific school after high school, and I know things change over time, but I think if you have something in mind, it's always helpful to look at what courses will get you there, right? So if you're looking for a certification, what courses can you take over the 4 years to get you to that certification? Or if you're interested in attending a specific school, what does that school require to possibly admit you into that school? So just some things to keep in mind when you're selecting courses, not just as a freshman, but moving forward, always doing that research. And obviously, we always recommend that you ask those questions. We have a really good relationship with the middle schools. They are constantly in communication with us, especially with our counselors. If you ask them questions and they don't know the answer, they will reach out and ask us to be able to provide you those answers. But you're also always welcome to reach out to us specifically, directly, to answer those questions for you. All right, so a big resource here moving forward is our nvhsguidance.com webpage, and it's, again, not only for freshman year, but for the next 4 years. We do post a lot of information on here that is helpful, that is specific to every grade level. So more specifically, though, on this website, just want to point out that we have a 4-year planning guide that I would suggest you take a look at. It just helps you kind of get an overview of a plan for the next 4 years. Obviously, it can change every semester. It could change, over the next year or two. But again, I think sometimes it's helpful to kind of get the big picture view of what you can take every year if, that's available to you. Our counselors do create a 4-year plan with freshmen their first semester of their freshman year. All right, so they will create one of those. But again, it's always just nice to be able to reference one. On the website, you can find graduation requirements. So again, it's not only reaching 24 credits to graduate, it's also having met specific subject areas. So like 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, so on and so forth. Both of those have to be met in order to graduate. So again, I think it's a matter of knowing that information so that we can work together to make sure that your student gets the courses they need, but also meets graduation requirements at some point. In here, you also can find information about career clusters. Again, not to say that your child should select a career as a freshman, but I think it's always great to know what careers are out there that may be of interest so that you can select those courses that are specific to that career. and explore them and find out, you know what, I didn't like that, and maybe pick something different. And again, just want to reference the course guidebook. It is also available there. So that course guidebook can be found in various places. We are pretty firm when it comes to the dates on that course timeline, so it's really important that you make your final selections by January 22nd in Student View. The window typically closes at 11:59 in case you're up late trying to decide, but we are pretty firm with that, so please make sure, put it on your calendars so that all courses are entered by that date. Counselor meetings will be happening. Oftentimes we have families who will, you know, the window will close and call a little bit of a panic saying, oh my gosh, I selected too many or I didn't select enough. Just a reminder, if that's the case, it's okay, because when counselors meet with your student, they will make sure to make sure that you have what you need in terms of credits. The total of credits should be 7.0 for the entire year. So I use that as your guide. Once you select everything, make sure that the student has 7.0 credits. And then, you know, we always recommend that a student considers that balance and variety, right? So be open to exploring new things. Don't focus on taking too many AP and honors classes. Think about enjoying your freshman year. Think about also joining some extracurricular activities. And then also, more importantly, think about how important mental health is and making sure that you have, you know, the right balance in regards to all of that. All right, so once you see the courses in Student View, you may have some questions. If you have questions regarding the recommendation in there, please reach out to the middle school teacher. All right, they're the ones recommending your students into a course, whether it's an honors or a CP, they're the ones that enter that recommendation. If you have questions about that, please reach out to them. If you're looking to level down, so if a student, you know, was recommended for an honors or AP and you are looking to say, you know, maybe we'll level down in a class just to kind of, you know, not make it so difficult, go ahead and enter that into the system. And we will fix it once you meet with the counselor, where the student meets with the counselor. If you're looking to level up, but you weren't recommended, that is a little bit of a different process. For that situation, you would need to reach out to our department chairs. And their contact information is on the timeline that you received. So you would reach out to them, let them know that you are looking to request a level change, and then they will have that conversation with you about, you know, different things. So that make sure to reach out to them for that if you have any questions. And again, placements are all final on February 21st. So the only next thing I want to show you, to just give you some examples that you will see here once you go into the system and select courses. So keep in mind, again, that when it comes to the core courses, English, Math, Science, Social Studies, those will be there when the system opens, right? Whether you were placed in them or you were recommended, you should have something for all those subject areas. Then you will have a PE. That is a requirement. Students do have the opportunity to take driver's ed. That is not a PE class. It is an actually elective. That is dependent on the birthday, okay? So you'll have physical education. You'll have a lunch in there. And then the ones that are highlighted in yellow is just an example, one example of what electives you can select. So this example specifically shows 4 semester electives. So they don't have the same elective both semesters. All right, that is one option. If you notice at the bottom, each semester should be equal to or equate to 3.5 credits per semester, which will give you then 7.0 at the end of the year. This is another example, but here the student took 2 semester electives and then 1 full year elective, which is the PLTW engineering class. And then lastly, the other option would be that they select 2 electives, both being a full year course. So again, Any questions? I know this is probably, obviously, this may be the first time you go through this process unless you have older, students that went here as well. Feel free to reach out at any point in time with any questions. We're here to help. We're here to make this process as easy as possible. And it really doesn't, it might be overwhelming now, but it's really not too bad. But thank you for your time, and look forward to meeting every one of you, and we're excited to have you next year. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Wilson now.
Good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the class of 2029. Isn't that crazy to hear, class of 2029? It's nuts as we start updating all of our resources, just to think about that and that we're here. This is the time where I'm going to say, let's all take a deep breath, because I know that there's been a lot of information, and I'm going to share some more information. But again, I know all resources are on the website, but thank you for bearing with us. We know that this is a lot, but we're happy that we have the opportunity to share it with you. So first I want to introduce myself. My name is Melissa Wilson. I'm the Assistant Principal for Curriculum and Instruction here at Neuqua Valley High School. And I'm excited to be here today, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our core courses and also explain a little bit about the difference between our college prep courses. You heard some of my colleagues say CP or college prep. They're interchangeable there, but then also a little bit about how they differ from our honors courses as you're working to select courses for this year. Before I jump into that, I do just want to share that what I'm sharing on behalf of our departments, you will hear much more about next Wednesday, January 15th, at our 8th grade open house. 8th grade open house is one of my favorite events. It's one of the biggest events that we have here at Neuqua Valley High School when we welcome all of our incoming freshmen, and it is exactly what it's called. It is an open house. So instead of walking in door 7, you're going to enter through the main entrance, door 1, which is right under the bell tower. And then from there, when you get here, it is a traditional open house. So there will be signage everywhere to kind of help and direct you to go from different departments. But then in addition to that, there will be a ton of staff members here and students helping you navigate where to go throughout the night. So that starts at 6 p.m. next Wednesday, January 15th. We hope that you can join us. A little bit about that evening, in addition to some of the core classes that I'm going to talk about today, all of our elective department chairs and members of their departments will be here to talk with you, answer questions, and share more information about all of the wonderful things that we have to offer here. So when you walk in, you will receive a pamphlet that has a ton of information in it. The first page has all kind of the important information that you'll need to know right away in terms of just important dates to remember. All of the contact information, Jessica mentioned the department chairs and contacting them with any questions regarding appeals. All of their contact information will also be on that document that you receive when you walk in. And in addition to that, inside you'll find a map that tells you where every department is. We will be all on the first floor, kind of starting in the auditorium lobby and then all the way down to the gymnasium. All of our head coaches will be here in the gym talking about athletics. We'll have a student activities area as well. Only 2 subjects, English and math, will have some set times that will be published on the map, that they'll have a very short presentation where the department chair will share more information with you. Besides that, all other departments will have department chairs and members of the department, teachers, there to answer questions that you have about various courses that are available freshman year and after freshman year. So again, 8th grade open house is a wonderful opportunity for you to explore our school, meet our amazing staff members, and also meet students who go here and learn about their experiences. What I'm going to share with you today, our department chairs, as I said before, who will be there at 8th grade open house, they are the experts when it comes to their department and answering questions regarding placement, about different options, and then moving forward after freshman year when it comes to different courses. Our department chairs are big leaders in our building. We meet as an instructional leadership team every week, and they are amazing and will be super helpful to you with the questions that you come with next Wednesday. So my job today, as I said, is to explain a little bit about our core courses, which is what Ms. Torres-Proctor shared. Those are the recommendations that you're going to see as you are going through this course selection process. Before I talk about that, I do want to talk a little bit about the difference between college prep courses and our honors and AP courses. Most of our core classes, when I say core, that means English, math, social studies, and science. will have either a CP and an honors, with the exception of social studies. Social studies has a CP and an AP, which I'll talk about a little bit later. One of the biggest things that I'm going to echo from my colleagues is the importance of balance and variety when it comes to your schedule and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success. There is a transition from middle school to high school. 7 courses in one day, 7 different teachers, 45 minutes. It's fast-paced, homework in different subject areas, assessments. It is a change and a challenge. We're going to be here to support you. We have an amazing staff, a bunch of great resources for you. But at the same time, it is a transition. So knowing that, understand that we're helping you as we go through this course selection process and hoping to set you up for success so that you have a great freshman year that has balance, time for you obviously to grow as a student, but also to grow as an individual and enjoy your time with us. So some of the things when we're coaching students and parents about college prep versus honors and AP, we do talk about 3 different pieces, I guess, of things that help you make those decisions. Obviously, as Ms. Torres-Proctor shared about accelerated placement, for some of you, you will be automatically placed in an honors or AP course. And then you'll make the decision, is that something that I want to take? As you're thinking about, think about these 3 things. The first one being reading level. One of the biggest differences between a college prep course and an honors or AP course is the pace that things go at and the independent reading and learning that happens on the student end. For our honors and AP courses, the reading is more rigorous, and there's not an expectation, that's not the right way to say it, but as you're reading at home, there's an understanding that you come in, you've done your reading, you come home, you understand it, and then you're going to apply it in a different way. Okay, there's supports there, obviously, but the reading level and the pace of the reading will go at a faster pace in an honors or an AP class. Reading and literacy is a huge part of our school. It's one of our school improvement goals and something that we've been focusing on. I've been here for 17 years. It's been a focus for us since I started here. It's across the building in all courses, including all of our elective courses. So it's something we take seriously as we think it is the foundation to learning. The second thing that will help you make a decision regarding CP and honors is just your ability to be an independent learner. For subjects that you feel like you can go home and tackle different things on your own without a lot of support and guidance, maybe honors or an AP course would be something better for you. But if you need more support in a specific course, college prep will challenge you. It's rigorous and it will get you ready for whatever you plan to do after high school. And lastly, similar to independent learning, ability to problem solve is another huge indicator of what course would be suitable for you. Think about how you tackle different challenges. Can you endure and push through it yourself, or are you looking for more supports? I'm not saying that those honors and AP courses don't offer those supports, but like I said, there's a little bit of a different level of application and a pace that goes faster when it comes to the understanding and application of concepts and critical thinking. The one thing I also want to mention, and I might repeat this later, is please know that if you don't start in all AP or honors courses, that you can still take a college prep course as a freshman, and then as you move on, move up to an honors or an AP course if you're looking for more of a challenge. Obviously, as a freshman, you're still figuring out what you want to do and what direction you want to go, but as you move forward, Ms. Torres-Proctor talked about a 4-year plan. Your counselor will be a huge asset for you as you're trying to figure out year by year what you're going to do to set yourself up for success after high school. So now I'm going to jump a little bit more into our 4 core subject areas, just to talk a little bit about the differences between the college prep courses and the honors courses. So first I want to talk about English. The one thing that I do want to share for many of you that are students here, ELA is what you call it in middle school, but here at the high school level we do call the class English, and it is a 4-year graduation requirement, so you'll take it all 4 years. And one of the biggest pieces of emphasis in English classes here at Neuqua Valley High School is writing. And it's probably the biggest, heaviest weight on grade when it comes to the course. In addition to writing, you will focus on reading, speaking, listening, critical thinking, collaboration. Our English teachers are fantastic, and many of our English teachers at our freshman center teach both CP and honors. Both courses courses are skill-based. They're focusing on the same skills, but as I said before, the pacing and the analysis and the critical thinking is at a little bit of a different level at the honors place. But regardless of what course you take, both courses will challenge you and help you get ready for what you do after your freshman year when it comes to English. Next, I want to talk about science. Similar to English, there's two options. So again, English had English 1 CP and English 1 honors. Science also has two options for freshmen: biology, college prep, and honors biology. I know that biology is a science course, but biology is actually a very heavy reading class. And it's not just reading and comprehension, it's reading and application of what you've read to various scientific concepts. So that's something I always like to share with parents about biology, is that there is a lot of reading, and then, like I said, working through different problems and application of skills. Similar to English, probably the biggest thing in difference between honors biology and college prep biology is the pacing. And then in addition to that, in honors biology, students may go into some more depth regarding certain topics and units as they're going through the content. Again, one things I want to emphasize again is that if you don't take honors biology, there are still plenty of opportunities to take an honors or AP science course after your freshman year. Next, I'm going to talk about social studies, which again, there are two choices, just like science and English. And this is where it's a little bit different. So we first have human geography, college prep. And then instead of honors in social studies, we have human geography advanced placement. And when I say advanced placement, or AP, that means that it is a curriculum written by the College Board. And in taking that, you can take an AP test to receive college credit moving forward. What I will say is that while both courses are kind of stranded in skills, again, the biggest difference is reading. And again, because AP Human Geography is a college level course, there is college level reading and application kind of connected to that. But in Human Geography, you'll study global patterns of culture, population, different dynamics of just what's happening on the planet, and economics, and how do all of these kind of make us who we are. So it's a really interesting course, but like I said, also reading heavy as well. So CP and AP are the different options for social studies too. And then lastly, math, which has a few more options. I put that at the end on purpose. Math will be determined, your placement, based on what you're currently in. Okay? Obviously, math is kind of sequential based on skills. So the three top courses there, if you are currently in 8th grade math, you will be either, depending on your teacher recommendation or accelerated placement, you will be placed in either Math Foundations, our Algebra Block College Prep class, or Algebra 1 College Prep. If you're currently in accelerated math, you will either be placed in honors geometry or geometry college prep. And then if you're someone who's currently taking PA math, the two typical placements are Algebra 2 Trig college prep or Algebra 2 Trig honors. So there are some different starting points with math. And obviously, based on where you're at currently in your 8th grade year, we do always encourage you to talk to your 8th grade teachers. We all, as a core, our core department chairs, myself and Ms. Torres-Proctor, did visit all 3 middle schools and meet with the 8th grade teachers to talk through all of these different choices and talk a little bit about the classes and suggestions for recommendations. So they're going to be your best resource when it comes to asking questions about skill and level and which course you're going into. Obviously, choosing that course that's right for you is very important. I'm really proud to share that our math courses here are fantastic. They do a lot of really great collaborative work. In most math classrooms, you see students sitting in partners or in groups. They're moving around the room, working through different problems and various things. So we're doing a lot of really great things in mathematics, and I'm really proud of the success of our students as a result of that. So, again, a lot of information, but at the same time, hopefully you have a little bit of a better understanding of the differences between college prep and honors or AP. And as you are working over the next few weeks with your 8th grade teachers to work through your course selection, again, I encourage you to ask questions. I encourage you to look at the course catalog, as Ms. Torres Proctor said, and again, think about what will be the best decision for me to put me in a good place as I start my freshman year. So I'm going to transition really fast. I've got a few final announcements. As I said before, we did visit all 3 of the middle schools that are in the district and talked with those 8th grade teachers. In addition to that, as Ms. Torres Proctor shared, all of our counselors will be visiting those 3 middle schools in the future, beginning of February, in order to meet with each student. That to me is one of the most important things that we do, so that we feel good moving forward and that our students feel like they are educated about what they've been placed in and what they can expect next year. If you are someone who goes to a private school or moving into the community, we are going to ask that you go to that website that we keep on telling you about, www.nequastudent.org/2029. You will see a button on there for if you're coming from a private school, or again, if you're moving in, where it's going to ask you for some contact information, and then someone from our counseling team will reach out to you to help you go through that course selection process. So please know that that resource is there. We're going to encourage you, if you're here tonight and this is something that applies to you, if you could please go home and fill that out. And like I said, we will be in contact with you to make sure that you feel comfortable with all of this moving forward as well. So just a few final notes. Again, we hope that you can come back next week, January 15th, 6 p.m. for our 8th grade open house. It's a fantastic event, a really great opportunity for you to see who we are and to meet our amazing staff. I'm always blown away at that event as I walk around, just at the conversations that people have and the smiles that we see as people walk out of the building. So we hope that you can join us here for that. Again, all of the details about that night, if you forget, are on that website, nequastudent.org/2029. We also are on Instagram and Twitter, so please feel free to follow us. We do post things throughout the year, different announcements, different pictures of activities happening throughout the year. I'm sure you saw as you walked in, there's photos out there on a slideshow just of what's happening in the halls, in the classrooms of Neuqua Valley on a daily basis. So we're super proud of that work, and we're excited for you to eventually be a part of it. So the one last thing I do want to say is, I don't know if you saw when you walked in, but we're on the street, Willie the Wildcat is here. So I know that some of you did go take some pictures. If you are embarrassed to take pictures, please know how much it means to your parents to take a good photo at your first class of 2029 event. So we encourage you to, we've got a backdrop out there, we've got some different props for the class of 2029. Please take a photo out there, go meet Willie, and enjoy just that moment out there, see some of the pictures that we have up. Again, we're so happy that you are here with us this evening. We cannot wait to see you again next Wednesday at our open house. And again, we look forward to future events for our class of 2029. So thank you again for being here tonight.